All right, welcome everybody. Today we're going to go over and review exactly what our productivity coaching department is doing. We have been working diligently behind the scenes to make sure that we get out of this this COVID kind of system that we had set up over the last 2 years, and we're getting back into what I consider the productivity coaching playbook, one in which I think will get you guys off the ground and running a lot faster. However, it's going to take some effort on your part. You see, with COVID, everything kind of switched to this online Zoom portal. And what I know for a fact in my own business, as well as everybody else's, is it's very hard when you're new or seasoned to make yourself do things from your home. So we're going to do a lot more in-person stuff. You've also seen our new team leader, Mark, kind of really shake up and take over a lot of the training program or training calendar. And so I kind of want to just give you a brief overview on that, right? So I think a lot of us look at productivity coaching and the definition. I think that we've done a really good job in incorporating mentoring, coaching, and training into this program. And the program's not necessarily designed to have a heavy training component. It's designed to complement what the market center is doing. So I'm very pleased and proud that Mark has been taking the reins with Shannon and our staff to really develop a robust training program that, quite frankly, Harry and I just have not had the time to pour into that training calendar and make it effective for what you guys need. So what I'm getting at is that training program is going to be ran by the office. If you guys have suggestions around what you want to see in the training program, you're welcome to bring it to Harry and I to make sure that we get things on the calendar that you want with Mark's approval and Mark's blessing. A couple of things on the training calendar that will still be happening. We'll be doing scripts on Zoom Mondays and Wednesdays from 8:30 to 9. So that's not changing. But we will no longer have scripts on Zoom on Tuesdays and Thursdays. All right. One of the things that you'll start to see is that on Tuesdays, we're going to get back into intentional lead generation. So on Tuesdays, every single Tuesday from 8:30 to 9, we'll be doing scripts and role play in person. And that location will be set in accordance to where our team meetings will be. So you guys, this is all by design, not by default. So our team meetings for our empire on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. And that means whatever market center that team meeting is taking place at, we'll be doing scripts and role play at that market center from 8:30 to 9. And then from 9 to 10, we'll be doing active lead generation calling. So throughout the whole month of June, through our power hours every Tuesday, we'll be calling our sphere of influence because that's our main focus for this training calendar of events for June. So if you're having trouble figuring out what to say to your sphere, how to talk to your sphere, how to advertise to your sphere, but not be too pushy around real estate, come to that power hour. It's not going to be on Zoom. The power of power hour is in person, the accountability, watching each other make those phone calls and get uncomfortable. But we will still have the Zoom options on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then the other thing that's going to change in our training calendar is we will still have a time slot on Wednesdays from 9 to 11, and that's going to be a rotational Ignite series. So our first Ignite series, our first Ignite class, we'll talk about Ignite here in a little bit. I've got a slide for that here down the road. But our first Ignite series will start on June 8th, next Wednesday at 9. And I'll talk to you more about that here in a minute. But here's the other thing that I want to kind of go over, the difference between mentoring and coaching. All right. We get a lot of phone calls where I get people that want me to coach with them. And very quickly throughout the conversation, I realize we're just looking for some validation and some mentoring. All right. So the difference between mentoring and coaching is that mentoring is where you want me to share my own knowledge, experience, skills, and my past. All right. And see, what I find is that when I get asked that question, well, Bruce, what would you do? I'm sharing with you my knowledge, experience. I do things completely differently than Jason Levi here. I do things differently than Jennifer Kelly. And so when you ask me from my experience, what we're looking for you guys to do is not have this big, long-winded debate around why I do what I do. There's multiple different ways we can skin this cat. And so if I get that question, the thing that really drains anyone in this world is to combat what I know to be true for myself. And so when you want to be mentored, just ask me that. Just ask me what my experience is, what I do, why I do it, where I find it, and I'll help you around all of that. But if you want to be coached, if you truly want to grow your business, be open to being coached. Being coached, I'm not going to share with you exactly what I do and why I do it. Being coached allows me to ask you questions and self-discover, so you then can gain your own knowledge and experience around your business and set up your business in a way which works best for you and your personality. I watch a lot of people try and emulate other people's businesses, and it's just not the person that they are. And that's the reason why I love real estate. There are so many ways that you can lead generate. Not all will be perfect for you, and not all will resonate with you, right? I know some people in here who can cold call. I know some people in here that can do open houses. I know some people in here that would rather prefer networking events. I know some people in here that have a robust fear. You need to focus on your strengths instead of your weaknesses, and that's what will help coach you through. So whenever we get on the phone, whenever you guys have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Just know that what we're looking for is to pick out between a mentoring opportunity and a coaching opportunity. And so one of the things that us coaches are going to be doing is, one, just opening up with that. Based upon your question, Jason, are you looking for me to share with you my experience? Or are you looking for me to coach you through your business and how you can implement what you just asked me? All right. And so please hold us coaches accountable to that. We want to make sure that this program is for you guys and exactly what you guys are looking for. And I absolutely want to keep a mentoring and coaching component. And one of the things that we're going to do as coaches is kind of precurse our one-on-ones with that. What are we looking for that day? If you need a reminder on the difference, just let us know, all right? All right, here's the exciting change. Uh-oh. There we go. All right, here's the exciting change. We now will have designated coaches for 3 different sectors of this business or this real estate profession, whatever you want to call it. And so, one, we're going to have a business development coach. If you have any sort of questions around your GPS, your 135, your 411, the Google Classroom, how to manage your time, your calendar, right there, we're going to have a designated coach just for that. So I want you guys to, as I go through these little sectors and these silos, I really want you guys to think about some of the questions that you may ask, and I want you to go directly to that coach. We're going to have specializations with each coach now. And so our business development coach will strictly stay on that. You will not be able to call the business development coach to talk about how to door knock or how to lead generate or how to, or review a contract for that matter. Our second coach will be that, our contracts coach, our buyer and seller presentation coach. And then our third coach will be the lead generation specialist. So we're going to keep it very simplistic. There's going to be no more roster division around production levels. All right. So if you have been working with Harry on your first deal today, starting effective immediately, you're going to have availability to call all 3 coaches for these different sectors. But if you have any questions around the business side of things, that's where you will talk to Harry. Harry, you want to talk about your role?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we'll do is for each new agent, and an agent has a 135. And I'll give a shout out to Holly today. She sent her 411 and it was really, really good. It balanced between lead generation, things she needed to get done for the month, and she broke it out by week. So she now has the ability to set her calendar up for the week and get those things done that she needs to get done. The nice thing is on Mondays, when we have our 9 o'clock call, and I say, okay, so if I was talking to Jason, I'll go get Jason, what's your week look like? Allie's going to be able to get that 411 out and go, well, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And they're specific. I'm going to call 15 people a day. I'm going to call 20 people a day. So I'm going to help work with that. And the Monday mastermind is to talk about the week. What's your week look like? Because once you set up your week, then you're set to go all week. And your calendar can be built around that and everything else. The other thing is, Bruce and I have talked about the Google Classroom guidance. There's a book called Productivity Coaching. Literally, folks, you have a question about what's next for a buyer, it's in that productivity coaching in the Google Drive. If you have a question about what's next for my seller, if you have a question about how did I want to fill out this contract, but I have a question about X, it's probably in there. So I'm going to work with them to understand how to use that productivity coaching book so that it's a reference for them, which will make their lives. I mean, we did it last Wednesday and somebody wrote to me later going, wow, I wish I'd have known that was there. Our fault. It's there. We just never made it a priority to sit down and talk about some of the things in it. And then the other thing, which ties back to the 411s and your Monday Mastermind, is time management, right? It's the 80-20 rule. In fact, if you remember yesterday, sometimes we want to go to all the training in the world, but in reality, that training, if I was working with Jason, I'd say, Jason, you really don't need that training. It's not something you're going to focus on, but it might be for Jasmine. So that's what they mean by that 80-20. 20% of what you do is going to produce 80% of the results. And so I want to work with folks on that. And so if you're struggling with a weekly calendar or you're struggling with your 411 after we developed your 135, then we can have a one-on-one and talk about how to set that up so that you understand it better. And then if there is a training that's on the calendar, and I'm sure you'll be able to go to any coach, but if you want, you can call me and go, should I go to this training? And I'm going to tell you yes or no. And not because I don't want you to go to all the trainings. I just don't want to bog your mind. I mean, when you're new, I've had more people tell me I'm an overwhelm. And when you're an overwhelm, that creates paralysis, right? You don't do anything then. And what I want to do is keep you focused so that you can grow your business and learn as you go and be successful at real estate. And that's sort of the goal of the business coach number one.
Yes. No, very true. To echo a couple of things off of that, here's some just kind of tidbits. I get a lot of questions around where's the referral form. That will be where you reach out to Harry. A lot of questions on I have a buyer. What should I do next? Where should I go? He's going to be the gentleman that points you guys in the direction of the resources through the Google Drive, through the Google Classroom. Through the Market Center Google Drives. If you're in Longmont, we still are on the intranet. All of those different things. So anything business related, keep this simplistic, you guys. Anything business related, reach out to Harry.
Bruce, we are actually in the process in Longmont of switching over to Google Drive. There is a link. Some documents are there, just not all of them.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. I just keep saying it's in the works. It's in the works. Thank you, Sherry.
And Bruce, just to add to number one, if you're trying to set up your budget or anything else, call me, because that's the business development side of it. And it's a business, and how do you run it? And anywhere I can help you understand. I've had people call, should I spend that kind of money? And then we can talk about that. And so I want to say, okay, let's talk about how much money you should spend on this and that. Well, so-and-so spends all kind of money. Yeah, well, they also make, $100,000. So I'll be able to help them with their budgets as well.
No, great point. I should have added that bullet point in there. I apologize. Absolutely, Harry. If Harry's going to be diving into your business and keeping track of your 135s, he's going to be knowing what you should be focused on and what you shouldn't be. And so that means if you have a question around a lead generation program or magnets you want to buy for your database and you want to know if you should spend the money on this, or that, those questions goes directly to Harry. Got it? And then the other thing that Harry will be doing is very similar to what you guys should be doing on a quarterly basis with your sphere of influence, giving them a shout called Quarterly Call. Every quarter, Harry's going to be reaching out to you guys to figure out and see where you're at in your business plan, right? I see a lot of agents go, it's only April. I've still got the entire rest of the year. The fact of the matter is we've already gone through January, February, and March. We're already a quarter of the way through the year. You have 3 quarters left. So if you keep just telling yourself that it's the beginning of the year, I've got a wake-up call for you. It's June, right? We're halfway through the year. Anything you put under contract today is going to close in the second half of this year. So if you're behind, if you're not where you're at, set up a time with Harry to go through your 135. Figure out what you're not doing and being disciplined around in order to effectively create a 411. Thanks, Harry.
And if it's lead generation, I'm going to send you over to Bruce and say, I want you to ask Bruce to help you with X.
Yep, exactly. We have another coach joining us today, and she will be our productivity coach number 2. This is the coach that you guys are going to reach out to for any and all contract strategy, contract review, contract guidance, both documents, if they're a CREC document and our brokerage disclosure and documents. Any sort of buyer or seller advisories, along with all the CREC docs. CREC, sorry. I know a lot of you guys are new, just getting out of, fresh out the gate. CREC is the Colorado Real Estate Commission approved form. So that's your contract to buy and sell real estate, your exclusive right to buy, your exclusive right to sell. Very simple coach here, you guys. Anything buyer, seller, presentation related, or contract related is all going to be going to this coach. So if you send Harry a contract, please understand that that contract will likely not be reviewed. Being that we're just changing to this, we're going to give you guys some grace, but Harry's instructed by myself, as well as all of us leadership and staff, to forward that directly on to our productivity coach number 2. And so if you send it to the wrong coach, there will be a delay over what you're looking for. The other thing I want to do is I want to jump on a soapbox here real quick with contract review and things of that nature. One of the things in my short years of doing coaching and helping you guys is that when it's time to write a contract, what I find is that because the market is the way the market is, we start to go into emergency mode, meaning, hey, Bruce, hey, Harry, here's my contract. I need this reviewed in the next hour. And Harry and I are scratching our head, looking at our phones going, there was absolutely no text that came through and said, hey, I'm working on a contract. I should be done in about 2 hours. Are any of you guys going to be available to review? You see, this is very important to understand that there is no such thing as an emergency in real estate. The emergencies that you feel are directly due to poor planning and poor communication. And the one thing that we absolutely don't want you to do is get upset with us. If you send us a contract and that needs to be reviewed in the next hour because the market demand says the seller's only accepting offers through 6 p.m. tonight, that's information that you already knew before you started writing that contract. So it's going to be up to you and your due diligence to reach out to coach number 2 to let them know and give them a heads up that a contract will be coming in. Because if this coach number 2 is not available and doing something else that they have going on, then they need to reach out to Harry and I to understand that we will have coaches available for that contract review. But the last thing that we can ever assure you guys is a contract to be reviewed in about an hour or 2. Most of you guys are still writing contracts, and it can take you up to 2 to 3 to even 4 hours to write your first couple of contracts. That's the time that you need to reach out to this coach to give them a heads up that this is going to be going on. All right. The last thing we want you guys to do is feel the frustrations of the market. And our job is to get you guys into what? Production, as well as be great business owners. All right. So the way to be a great business owner is to mitigate all emergencies. By mitigating all emergencies, this means rapid communication. All right.
So, Bruce, quick question before you
Please.
announce the big person, the important person. Does that change like who's on call for the weekend then? So like if we have a contract on like during the weekend, will this coach be like on call every weekend, or how does that work?
Is this Brittany?
It is me. Hi.
Hi, Brittany. Great question. I'm not going to answer it right now, but yes, no, it'll be different on the weekend. I'm going to go over coach on call here in a minute. Yep. Great question. All right. Coach number 3, lead generation coach. That will be me. That will be me. So a couple of things that are changing, all right, is that anytime you guys want to set up a one-on-one with me now, you guys can absolutely do it through the Zoom link. Or I'm sorry, through the link in my email signature. But make sure you understand that one-on-one time slot is changing. Meaning that if you set up a one-on-one with me through that Zoom link, it will be mandatory that it is in person or on Zoom. And while on Zoom, it can't be in a car unless the car is parked and stopped. But even then, I'm not going to be too thrilled with being in a car. I want you guys at your computer, or I want you guys in person with me. I've noticed that when I take one-on-ones over a phone call, there are a lot of resources and things that I want to be able to show you online in an in-person setting, right? And so anytime that you want to reach out to me for a one-on-one, it needs to be one, lead generation oriented. So here's kind of the idea behind this design, you guys, now that I'm wrapping up all three of us coaches. As a business owner, you should have a business plan. And so if you don't have a business plan, your first objective is to reach out to Harry and set that in motion. Through that business plan, you should have two different things in your business plan at all times, because you are a business owner. In your business plan, you should always have some sort of lead generation model, and you should always have some sort of business development model or organizational model. Meaning, you need to understand that just like Ben Kinney yesterday, or we were talking about with Ben Kinney on our team meeting yesterday, the dude is a multi-millionaire, understands that he is a professional, and practices his scripts 5 days a week for half an hour a day. So your business plan needs to have basically active lead generation on it, as well as business development on it. And so once your business plan is done, then that business plan will be sent to me. Once I understand what your business plan will be, or I'm sorry, your lead generation plan will be, I'll either be reaching out to you, or you'll be reaching out to me to set up your one-on-one to go through how you're going to execute that lead generation plan. I'm not saying that you can't just reach out to me. If you guys have one-off questions, like, hey, you're out door knocking and somebody said this, reach out to me. I'm not making it mandatory that you set up a one-on-one just to talk to me. But if you want to plan and mastermind, there'll be no longer just random phone calls and phone calls being had. There's too many things that I'm not able to share with you when we're not in person or on Zoom. That link hasn't changed. It's still in my email signature. You can set it up with me anytime you guys need. Power hours. So like I said, I'll be the lead generation coach. I'll be also coaching Ignite.
Thank you.
Can we move? Okay. Power hours. Power hours are going to be every Tuesday starting at 8:30 and will last until 10. Again, I said at the beginning of this announcement that there's a strategy to this, right? We're doing things by design and not by default anymore. And so since our Tuesday team meetings are at 11 at the different market centers, so the first two team meetings are going to be at the Firestone Market Center, and the last two team meetings of the month will be at the Fort. Sorry, I'm gonna mute people here. How do I mute all, Sherry? All right. So what that means is next, just quiz question for you, Brittany. Next Tuesday, starting at 8:30, which location will Power Hour be in?
Is it Firestone? I don't know. I missed yesterday's meeting because I was on vacation, but is it
Nope.
Firestone?
Yes, it's Firestone. It's okay. Great guess or great intuition. I don't care what you want to call it, but the first two team meetings of the month are going to be in our Firestone office. The last two team meetings in the month will be in our Fort Collins office. And so our power hours will directly coincide with those locations. You guys need to get out of the COVID mindset. You guys got to get into office. You guys got to meet your peers. I'm not seeing enough of you guys set up your accountability groups. You guys cannot just rely on JK, Harry, Jesse, myself to help your business grow. The way your business will grow exponentially is when, and I'm just picking on the people that I see in here, is when Brittany and Josie are in Power Hour together, going through the same trials, troubles, and tribulations that all businesses go through, and working through that together, creating accountability partners, script partners. That is up to you guys and your business. And unfortunately, this isn't your fault. Our coaching program had to get into a COVID mindset. We're getting out of that now. And so I expect you guys, if you want to lead generate and you are not doing the business that you want to do, You need to come to power hours. I will tell you and I will teach you how to crush it. My favorite phrase is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's my favorite phrase because Bruce used to hate being uncomfortable. And that's the only thing that allowed my business to grow. I didn't sell one single home in my first 9 months. And you know why? It's because I wasn't putting in the work. I kept telling myself, there's no way you can hit 10 contacts in 1 hour. And if you come to power hours consistently, I guaranteed without a shadow of a doubt, I will get you to 10 contacts in 1 hour. To the point where you guys are actually running a business. You can get 20 contacts in 2 hours. Be done with your day. Go on appointments in the afternoon. Go for an extended lunch. Go let your dog out. Go do laundry. I don't care. But I find that we're struggling getting in 2 to 3 contacts, sometimes in a week. And that all comes down to the lack of being in person, holding yourself accountable and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so power hours are back. It's my favorite thing, and I used to hate it. Questions around that. Tuesdays, 8:30 to 9, scripts and role play. 9 to 10, active phone calls. Depending upon how frustrated I get with the lack of people making calls and just listening to others, we may or may not have to ask people to step out of the room. This is for active participation only. All right. I know you guys want this. You guys all signed up. You guys all went through the hell of getting your license. And then the secondary hell of realizing quickly, nothing you learned to get your license is actually what you're going to be doing. I want to get you guys through that. And the best way to get you guys through that is to get into action. All right. So see me on Tuesdays. It'll be fun.
Can I add to that, Bruce?
No. You're out of time. No, what's up?
If you're at the power hour, you can then come to the team meetings because we're actually having a lot of teaching moments there. I mean, we have 52 people right now, and you have over 100 in the coaching program. So where are your friends? Where are your other people that started with you? Encourage them to come. We're not doing this for our own benefit. We're doing this to help you guys. We're having, hands-on learning classes, but Mark's big thing is show up at the team meeting and show up at the Mastermind Friday. And in person, you get so much more energy and you'll just get way more out of it. So I want to encourage you all to be participants, not only in PC, but also in what the Market Center is doing for you.
Power hour is the only reason why I finally got off my butt and actually started selling real estate at a high level. I went from 0 closings first 9 months to 37 the rolling 12 months after. And it was only because I was not doing the work. And it was nerve-wracking. However, I'll make it fun. I'm not going to beat you guys up, but I do expect participation. Sorry, we got some chats. I'm going to see what's going on. What about contract review over the weekend? Yep, we'll get to that. Don't get stuck in a weak agent, a weak moment. Bruce's favorite saying. Yes, that is my favorite saying. Don't be a weak agent. You know what a weak agent is? Having your license for the last year and just continually training without doing. And then when you get that phone call and you get that lead that says, yeah, you know what? I do want to buy a house with you. A weak agent has done all of the training in the world, but still stops dead in their tracks and goes, I got a buyer. I don't know what to say next. I don't know what to do. Why don't I know what to do? I've been to all the trainings. I know exactly what a buyer should do. It's simply because you haven't put yourself in any sort of role play situation. All right. It'd be just like watching videos about how to ride a bike. All right.
Bruce,
so if you have kids.
Participate.
Yes, if it's brief, yes.
Bruce, if you open up participants, it should say mute all at the bottom.
Got it. You guys being active and actually, so if you guys play, if you guys have ever played an organized sport, let's call it basketball, and you guys go to practice, did you ever just sit in the bleachers and watch training videos on how to shoot a basketball? Or did your coach have you down on the court doing the drills? They had you down on the court doing the drills because learning and watching a video around how to play basketball will not make you a good basketball player. I'm going to beat this like a dead horse. I'm watching too many of you guys to show up to a ton of different trainings. but then report to Harry that you made 7 contacts last week. You got to get in the game. You got to start learning the drills. You got to start dribbling that basketball. You got to start working on your form. You've got to start shooting 3 free throws. Coach on call. Coach on call. So yeah, a lot of questions around that. So yes, Monday through Friday, you guys, keep those segments, keep those columns of coaching in the back of your mind. So if it's Monday through Friday and you have a question around your business plan, call Harry. If you have a contract to review, you're going to reach out to coach number 2. If you have any sort of lead generation mastermind or plan that you want to run by me, give me a shout. If it's a plan, if it's something that you want to work on, set up a call or in person with me. All right. Coach on call is simply for contract review on the weekend. So yes, we're still going to be rotating coach on call. Those will be announced. Coach on call will still be announced through the Productivity Coaching Facebook page. So if you're on here right now and you are not tied to the Productivity Coaching Facebook page, I want you to put something in the chat and I will get you guys added. So the coach on call is announced through the Productivity Coaching Facebook page, as well as an email every Friday. Every Friday. There's not a set time that I send that out, but every Friday you're going to see the announcement for the coach on call. It is absolutely my sole fault. If you don't see that come out, you can reach out to any coach until I post that thing. But I'm making it mandatory on myself and with my coach to make sure that's posted before 5 o'clock on Fridays. Now, I want a couple of ground rules with coach on call. We are not sitting at an office just waiting for you to just reach out to us. So very similar to what I was saying earlier in the weeks. If you guys are out showing a buyer houses and the buyer looks at you at that house and says, hey, we want to write an offer, and you haven't really had any practice with writing any sort of offers, your job will be to text that coach on call to give them a heads up to make sure that they can make themselves available to review that contract for you on the weekend. All right. Let me say that again. There's no such thing as an emergency in real estate. Emergencies are created by your poor planning. So if you're going to write an offer and you're going to take an hour or 2 to write it, give that coach a heads up. All right. We're not just sitting in an office waiting for you, and we will respond to you in a timely manner. The other thing that, sorry, I got to turn off my text notification. The other thing that that we're not going to do on the weekend is it's not for business planning or scripts and role play. This isn't for consulting you, mentoring you, and coaching with you. This is for contract review, contract strategy, and help with negotiations on what's going on. If you just so happen to be working on a Saturday or Sunday on your business plan, set up a time with Harry for the following week to go over what you're talking about and what you're going through. All right. So coach on call is simply for contract review, guidance, and negotiations. And pretty much everything else should fall into the work weeks, and we will be rotating the coach on call, and that will be announced every Friday. Questions on anything so far? All right, sorry, I'm just reading some. Jen, to be honest, this whole transition in real estate is scary, and I'm afraid to let go of my full-time job to do this, but I need to take the leap. I need productivity coaching access. Yes, we'll get you there. Harry, will you reach out to Jen after this and set up a time to get started? We understand, Jen, it is overwhelming. That's one of the good things one of the best things that we do as a coaching department is we take this mountain of things that you have over lingering on your plate, especially with a full-time job. And what we want to do is we want to take that mountain off your shoulders and understand that that mountain is something we need to climb up step by step. So just like you would climb a 14er, it's step by step. It's not a marathon. You're not going to run up the hill, right? You're not going to see the tippy top. You're not going to see the summit until you get closer and closer to it. And setting up a time with Harry to kind of go over that business plan to keep you in very direct, succinctual a plan will help.
Yeah, and I sent Jen a note, and I gave her an example of like Colton Davis. He was someone that had a full-time job, scared to death to jump into real estate full-time. So we sort of worked on a plan for him to get him rolling, get him going, so that when he did make that move, he was ready to go, and he's killing it. Because now he can spend full-time into real estate, and when he was working real estate, he did it. He put everything into it. In other words, if he only has 20 hours, then I'm going to put a solid, hardworking 20 hours into it until I can make that jump into a 40-hour position. So yeah, we'll work on that.
Thank you, Harry. I appreciate you guys. I do.
Absolutely. And go ahead. Somebody else.
Oh, Bruce, I was just gonna say, like, we have done this in the past, like that's the newer, older agents. But what's really helpful with contracts is writing mock contracts and then sending them for review. That has helped me so much, because then you're not like, yeah, it's still nervous when you're writing a real one, but like at least you're familiar and you know what you're doing. So that would be like, even people who are doing part-time, start practice writing contracts, because that's the scariest part of it all, is doing that.
Thank you, Brittany. I cannot. I love that comment, Brittany. It is, you guys. I said this through and through this video so far. The number one thing that will set you apart from any other real estate agent is doing it. You can go to any and all trainings that you've ever wanted to go to, but until you actually, like Brittany said, write your first mock contract, you'll realize quickly what you have no clue about. The other thing that I love about Brittany too is I love that she called herself a new old real estate agent. Yeah, Brittany is one of those people that I have my eye on because I know what she's doing. Her and Tyler Vaughn and Lori, and there's a few others, they all get together, you guys, and lead generate. They put their business basically in a form in which it can't fail because they're all doing the work. Great job, Brittany. Great job. Ignite. So Ignite is I don't want to say what about Ignite. Ignite is a crucial course when you first began. So if you have not taken Ignite and you feel overwhelmed, it's because we need to take Ignite. And that's what I love about what Mark's doing with the office training calendar. And it allows us as coaches to put Ignite on the calendar on a consistent basis. And so Ignite will be every Wednesday from 9 to 11. The Zoom link will be in the NoCo Empire calendar. It's the same Zoom link that I've been using for the past 2 years at 9 to 11. If you can't find the NoCo calendar, we're going to go look at that real quick. And it's going to be on constant rotation. So next Wednesday, June 8th, we're going to start Ignite series number 1. In order to get to the NoCo Empire calendar, this is something that's absolutely imperative that you guys all have in your bookmarks on your desktop. I want you guys to have this down, save it, write it down, put it somewhere. But you guys all need to have access and it's somewhere saved, the NoCo agent portal. I'll put it in the chat. Thank you, Sherry. No, that's you. You're going to go ahead and click on existing agent. A lot of you guys are new agents and you guys are going into here. That's fine. Keep rolling through those steps. But once all that's done, you guys are going to go down here, and here's all of our services, all of our nice, neatly organized things for you. Subscribe to the NoCo calendar. Subscribe there. That's where you're going to see that Ignite series come every single Wednesday. There's some other things in here. We're not going to go over all of it, but here's our agent services. Here's to get set up with the transaction management, our simple home solutions. So this is our basically in-house vendor to do repairs on different upcoming listings to make it look better, to get it sold for more money. Our iBuyer and iSeller program. You guys got links to all of this. Our in-house lender with Grant Hickman, Goosehead, our insurance company. And then our newly launched Empire Investment Fund. Guys, it's all there. Here is the NoCo Empire Facebook page along with the PC program Facebook page. So I'll go ahead and add you guys that popped your name into the chat. But if you're not on there, if you want to check it out, click on there, take a look at it. I want to show you guys an example of what Coach on Call will look like, so that way you're understanding. So we send this out either in an email, or both in an email as well as on this Facebook page. So if you have changed your email since you started in real estate and you're not receiving these Coach on Call emails, I need you to send me an email, shoot me a text with whatever email you want that to be sent to, and I'll update the roster. Questions?
Bruce, I don't have a question, but I manually invited everybody who said they didn't have the Facebook page through Facebook. You guys just need to make sure you're accepting it though, because a lot of times I send it and then they don't accept. So just make sure you hit accept so you could be a part of that group. Okay, guys?
Yep. One of my other favorite sayings. You guys will see I have a lot of favorite sayings, but there's 4 or 5 that I use frequently. It's people need to be reminded far more often than they need to be instructed. It's okay that you didn't accept Darby's first invite to it. You guys have a mountain of things to do. And we're going to help you walk up that mountain. Never, ever, ever, ever tuck your tail between your legs and be afraid to reach out to us coaches. Even if we've had to tell you 3 and 4 times where something's at, about the 3rd time with me, we're going to get on Zoom and I'm going to show you how to bookmark things, because I think that's the #1 thing. You guys look at my bookmarks tab. It's littered with things that I frequent. You need to do the same. You're in business now. These browsers, Safari, Google, whatever you're using, there's tools for you to make your life easier. I know it's not fun for you to reach out to me and say, hey, Bruce, what was that NoCo Empire portal page again that I'm supposed to save and download? It's okay, ask me. But do yourself a favor, run yourself a business and start using Excel spreadsheets, track through email, create a folder system, have a daily planner, use your bookmarks. This is your business, not mine. I'm just going to help you with it. Any other questions? Great. With that being said, let's introduce coach number 2, our contracts coach. Claudia, you on here?
Yeah.
Probably
Hi,
left by
good
now.
morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing well. Doing
Good.
well.
Good. So I'm excited to be a part of NoCo. I'm currently an agent down at the Keller Williams down in Aurora, but I live on the north side of town. So I'm closer to Firestone, about 30 minutes or so, and then 30 minutes to Aurora. So I'm in a good position. I've been with KW a little over 2 years. I did start at a smaller brokerage when I initially got licensed. And then prior to being a real estate agent, I was actually a lender with the local bank down here in the Denver metro area. I grew up in Fort Morgan. So if you guys are familiar with the northeast side of Colorado, that's where I grew up. And I've been out here in Denver probably almost 15 years now. Came out here for college and I just stayed. So it's been good. And then, yeah, I'm loving what I'm doing now. I'm excited to be a part of this and to help you guys grow. And I think that was just what I was looking for when I first started with the brokerage. And when I came over to KW, that's where I saw my business shift and I really doubled, and it's been productive. It's been really good.
Great. Thank you, Claudia. We're very excited to have you. I know Harry and I are, as well as your experience and your details. She's already had some great ideas come to Harry and I. A lot of what you guys seen today was because we mastermind. So us coaches do the same things that we encourage you guys to do. You guys need to be going out to coffees with each other, meeting up on Zoom, doing lead generation together. I mean, gosh, to Brittany's point, practice contracts together, right? I think one of the best ways to learn how to do a contract is when you can review somebody else's contract. So if Brittany writes up a mock contract and sends it to Jen, and Jen can find some mistakes, you're only benefiting both parties right there. But Claudia will be our contracts coach, as well as help you guys develop and tweak your buyer and seller presentation. But I do want to talk about that for a little bit. Claudia is not going to be filling your contracts out. Claudia is not going to be developing your buyer and seller presentation. She'll have some that for examples that we can send out, And she'll also be happy to review and give you guidance on your contracts. But she's not going to be, she has a direct thing from me and Harry that says she cannot fill your contracts out for you. All right. So if you're not practicing them, you guys get to a weekend and your first buyer wants to write their first contract and you haven't even looked at it since you got licensed, I will tell you, it's going to be a very painful weekend for you. And it's not to put you in that situation. It's simply that we need to revamp your business. We need to find some time in your weeks to do that. And that's why Claudia's here. She's going to have time to review the active contracts as well as the mock contracts, as well as help maybe tweak and ask you guys questions around your buyer and seller presentation. So thank you, Claudia.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah. Any questions for Claudia, guys? We'll let you guys get out of here.
Thank you and welcome, Claudia.
Thank you.
Now, I know how some of you guys are. If you're too timid to ask questions on here, feel free, reach out to me. I want to make sure this is clear, cut, and dry. Business related, call Harry. Contract, buyer and seller presentation related, reach out to Claudia. Anything lead generation orientated, reach out to me. Can anybody think of a question? All right, I don't care how off the wall it seems. Can anybody think of a question in which you wouldn't know which coach to reach out to? Good. I've thought through this multiple times over and over and over again. And I strongly feel like if you guys had any questions that come up with what we help you with, it's going to absolutely fall into one of those silos. If it doesn't fall into one of those silos, I guarantee you there's a staff member who will be glad to help you. But we're getting questioned. We're getting started, you guys. Please, if you don't know which coach to reach out to, you're just getting started in real estate, you don't know half of what I just said, it is still okay to CC all of us coaches on an email. All right. So one of the first things I'm going to do after we jump off this call today is I'm going to send out an email to all of you guys with all of our contact info, which will include Claudia's name. Rachel West, question. Let's do it.
Oh, it was when you were trying to get us to think of one. What about social media stuff? Because I actually had a social media thing this morning and Jesse actually helped me with it, but just compliance and social media stuff, like who is that for?
That's for Jesse.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, that's a really good question. You guys, that's one of the reasons you guys, I have had a couple of you guys get a little frustrated with me that I don't feel comfortable reviewing your how you design your signs. It's not my butt that's on the line here. Our managing broker is our compliance specialist, right? And so sign review, social media post, is it right? Is it wrong? Run that by Jesse. The last thing I want to do is give you bad advice, because again, it's not my license on the line here. Good question, Rachel. Now let's tag off of that. If it's social media, if it's something about social media because you want to know what to post, what will be most effective to your database or to your sphere of influence, who would you reach out to?
You.
Thank you.
You.
Sweet.
You.
All right, I think we get it. It's going to be very simplistic. Business, Harry. Contracts, buyer seller presentation, Claudia. Lead generation, me. Anything else? Probably is maybe a Jesse question, maybe a Jolynn Sherry question, maybe a Karen question. We have a robust staff that I am very pleased and proud of to work with. It's amazing what we're doing. And I think that, obviously with Mark helping out with the training calendar and taking that off our plate, it allows us to stay in our strengths. And so I appreciate you guys being on here. Any other questions? Oh, Darby, great question. Where do they go for tech? I am so sorry. I probably should have had a slide for, should have had a slide for Mr. Ryan Thompson. Ryan Thompson's out of the country right now, but he is our tech ambassador and coordinator. His classes are on the NoCo Empire's calendar of events. So that webpage that I just sent you guys, or that you guys have on bookmarked and readily available, it's your end all be all resource page that you must know where it's at and how to locate. get into the calendar of events, and Ryan's classes are on there. There's DocuSign to close. There's KW orientation. What are some other things that we're teaching while Ryan's out of town?
We don't call them mandatory. However, they are pertinent to your business. So if you have not attended one of Ryan's classes, you need to. Yes, it's DocuSign, contract to close, intro to KW and command, and then we have a Q&A so you can bring any of your questions.
Perfect. All right, guys, go crush your Wednesday. We'll see you soon.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Bruce.
much, you guys.
You're welcome.
Thank
Yeah, who's got
you.
something? Somebody's
Great
got something.
I guess I have a little comment. I just want to say thank you so much to all of you guys for taking your time and really helping us to get to the next level. I'm excited.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm stupid excited to get back to what the coaching program was. During COVID, it was a lot. It was like, it basically became a training program. And I don't see anywhere in the words of productivity coaching where training fits, right? Productivity coaching is doing, it's discovering, it's helping you with your business. The training and stuff like that, you guys, I'll be honest with you, you can go learn how to do an open house on YouTube. You can go learn how to door knock on YouTube. There's too many regional classes. There's things in KW Connect training. I'm so excited to get down and dirty with you guys and actually get your business off the ground and running, because I'm burnt out from training. I want to coach. I want you guys to thrive. And then that's one of the main reasons why we're going to in-person and on Zoom with my one-on-ones, is because a phone call is kind of like just training you over the phone. I want you guys to take action and crush it. I think there was somebody else with a question, maybe. Thought I heard Jake Brown, but cool. All right, enjoy your day. See you guys.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you.
Thanks.